Many unskilled workers are still not enjoying their labour rights. NGOs are calling on government to launch a campaign to encourage employers to register domestic workers with the Compensation Fund and the Unemployment Insurance Fund. To discuss, we're now joined by Gloria Kente, organiser at the SA Domestic Service and Allied Workers Union. Ms. Kente, thank you for being with us. The Compensation Fund only opened up not so long ago for domestic workers. Just remind us how it protects them.
Hello. Good evening to everybody. I've got a problem of the network. Can you repeat your question, please?
Sure. Ms. Kente, if you can hear me, I asked for a reminder of how the Compensation Fund, if employers register their domestic workers, can protect those domestic workers.
Okay. If the COIDA can be registered, it can protect the domestic workers. If they get injured at their workplace, they can get compensation. If a domestic worker died at the workplace, the dependents can get they can get compensation.
Okay, but it's all dependent on the employers registering the domestic workers. Is that happening at the moment?
No, it's not happening at the moment because even the COIDA is not signed yet. We are still waiting for our government to sign the COIDA, so the employers and then the government can implement this COIDA and then it can enforce the employers to register the workers. Because we don't want the failure like the UIF to this COIDA.
Yeah. What is a COIDA for people who are watching?
What is a COIDA? A COIDA is a compensation for the domestic workers. If any worker that gets injured at the workplace.
Okay, so you're saying to government, launch a campaign, firstly get this done, and then encourage people to register their domestic workers and educate them why. Is government listening?
Yes. I would say the government is listening to us, but now it starts somewhere. It starts somewhere because now it's not signed yet. But we're waiting for them to sign, and then they can educate the workers, and they need to do the awareness of this COIDA. And also they must do a pamphlet for the COIDA because most of the domestic workers, they don't know the COIDA. What is the COIDA? So they need an education. As a union, we want to do a partnership with the Department of Labour so we can do this awareness together.
All right, there's another issue, which is the Unemployment Insurance Fund, and that should have been implemented. Employers should be registering their domestic workers. Do we know how many domestic workers in South Africa are covered if they had to lose their jobs?
The domestic from South Africa are not covered. They are covered by the UIF, but they are not registered by their employers. I can mention now, during this COVID-19, most of the domestic workers couldn't get an access to the UIF fund because they are not registered by their employers. So they were struggling to get their compensation from the Department of Labour because the employers are not registered with them. There are many domestic workers in South Africa, but I can tell you, not all of them, they are registered by their employers. So we need our government to implement this law of the UIF so the domestic workers can all register.
Yeah, and it is the law, right? Employers are compelled to register their workers. They're just not doing it.
They are not doing it.
All right, thank you very much. So this is about the vulnerableness of domestic workers. The SA Domestic Service and Allied Workers Union saying UIF grants are, well, the Unemployment Insurance Fund, domestic workers are not being registered with that fund by their employers, and now the compensation fund is an issue as well. That was the union's organiser, Gloria Kente.